Global tension. The conflict between China and Taiwan has been a matter of international tension for over 7 decades. To understand how this situation has developed and the current geopolitical implications, it's crucial to review the history that has shaped the relationship between the two sides. The Chinese Civil War was marked by an intense ideological struggle between the nationalists, who sought to establish a government based on free market principles and liberalism, and the communists, whose goal was to establish a socialist state following Marxist-Leninist ideology. During this period, both sides clashed fiercely, but the intervention of the Japanese Empire in 1937 during World War II temporarily halted the internal conflict. The communists and nationalists called a truce to unite against the Japanese invaders, but after Japan's defeat in 1945, internal hostilities resurfaced. Between 1946 and 1949, the Civil War resumed, and although the nationalists initially had superior numbers and resources, the communist forces, through a combination of effective military strategies and gaining popular support in rural areas, managed to prevail. In 1949, the Chinese Communist Party took control of most of mainland China, leading to the retreat of approximately 2 million nationalists to Taiwan, along with significant gold reserves and other resources. Chiang Kai-shek and his government, established in Taipei, proclaimed that they were still the legitimate rulers of all of China, although in practice they only controlled the island of Taiwan and some nearby islands. With the founding of the People's Republic of China on the mainland, under the control of Mao Zedong, and the persistence of the Republic of China in Taiwan, a political division was established that has lasted until today. During the first decades, both governments claimed to be the legitimate representatives of all of China, and both had the aspiration to reunify the country under their control. However, the geopolitical reality changed significantly over time. While the People's Republic of China consolidated its power on the mainland, Taiwan, under the Kuomintang government, maintained an authoritarian regime that over time transformed into a vibrant democracy and one of the most advanced economies in the world. During the 1950s and 1960s, efforts to reunify Taiwan with the mainland by military means were considered by both the government of the People's Republic of China and the government of the Republic of China. However, the intervention of the United States, which saw Taiwan as a key bulwark in containing communism during the Cold War, prevented communist forces from attempting a direct invasion of the island. Throughout these decades, the United States provided military and economic support to Taiwan, helping to establish a defensive shield that deterred the People's Republic of China from attempting reunification by force. A key point in the conflict between China and Taiwan has been the so-called One China policy. This principle, championed by the People's Republic of China, maintains that there is only one China and that Taiwan is an inalienable part of its territory. For the People's Republic of China, any country that wants to maintain diplomatic relations with Beijing must break formal relations with Taiwan. This policy has led to fewer and fewer countries officially recognizing Taiwan as an independent state over the years. In 1971, the People's Republic of China succeeded in obtaining the seat of China in the United Nations, stripping the Republic of China of its representation in the international community. This change occurred largely due to the diplomatic strategy of the United States during the Cold War, which sought to get closer to the People's Republic of China to counter the influence of the Soviet Union. This rapprochement, known as ping-pong diplomacy, culminated in President Richard Nixon's historic visit to China in 1972, which consolidated the recognition of the People's Republic of China as the only China recognized by most of the world's nations. Today, only 12 countries recognize Taiwan as an independent state. However, the United States and many other nations maintain unofficial relations with Taiwan, supporting its security through arms sales and other types of assistance, without officially recognizing it as an independent country. This game of strategic ambiguity allows the United States to support Taiwan without formally contradicting its commitment to the One China policy. The rise of tensions in the 21st century. In the last 2 decades, the relationship between China and Taiwan has swung between moments of tension and relatively peaceful approaches. During the presidency of Ma Ying-jeou in Taiwan, from 2008 to 2016, Progress was made in trade and diplomatic relations between the two sides, with the signing of agreements that facilitated trade and tourism between Taiwan and the mainland. However, under the leadership of Tsai Ing-wen, who assumed the presidency in 2016, tensions have increased significantly. Tsai and her party, the Democratic Progressive Party, lean towards a stance more favorable to Taiwan's independence, which has angered Beijing. Xi Jinping's government has made it clear that reunification with Taiwan is an unwavering goal, and that military means are not ruled out to achieve it if necessary. Over the past few years, China has intensified its military pressure on Taiwan, with military exercises near the island and flights of fighter jets in its airspace. These actions, combined with Beijing's increasingly aggressive rhetoric, have led to increased concern in the international community about the possibility of an invasion of Taiwan, the question of a military invasion. One of the most feared scenarios is the possibility of a Chinese military invasion of Taiwan. Military experts and analysts have speculated for years about how such an operation might unfold. In theory, an invasion would begin with a massive attack to neutralize Taiwan's air and sea defenses, followed by an amphibious landing and a rapid occupation of strategic points such as airfields and ports. China has a huge advantage in terms of size and military resources, but Taiwan's geography and the resilience of its army complicate any such operation. In addition, any invasion attempt could trigger a significant international response. The United States, which has maintained a policy of strategic ambiguity for decades on whether it would defend Taiwan in the event of an attack, would likely intervene in some way, as the fall of Taiwan under Chinese control would represent a major threat to U.S. security interests in the Asia-Pacific region. Sanctions and economic consequences. Another factor China must consider before attempting an invasion is the economic impact. As with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, any Chinese military aggression against Taiwan would likely provoke massive economic sanctions from the West, freezing of assets and trade blockades. China, as the world's second-largest economy and a major player in global supply chains, would suffer a devastating economic blow that would affect not only its domestic economy, but also its position in global trade. The conflict between China and Taiwan is a matter deeply rooted in the history and politics of the region, with global implications that cannot be underestimated. While Taiwan continues to thrive under a de facto independent status, Beijing has not given up its goal of reunifying the island with the mainland, whether by peaceful means or, if necessary, through military force. Tensions will remain as long as neither side is willing to give up its position, and the world will watch closely as this complex and delicate geopolitical scenario unfolds.